Eyewitness News 4 at 5.
And we begin tonight at 5 with a sad update to pass along tonight. Yet another teen in our community is dead because of road rage.
A 15-year-old boy was shot almost a week ago near Coors and Gun Club, and that is where we find our Jen French live.
And Jen, have there been any arrests yet?
Tessa, Steve, deputies haven't arrested anyone yet, and they don't have a lot of details about a possible shooter. Only 15, Efrain Arzate was in the back passenger seat at this corner Gun Club and Kirk Lane when deputies say someone shot him in a fit of road rage. Today, deputies confirm he passed away in the hospital. Now, we asked the sheriff's office who else was in the car with the teen, but a spokesperson told us the office is not releasing their names yet. As far as the shooter, deputies will not tell us if they've identified a person of interest because they are not trying to influence or compromise any witnesses. Now, at this time, a motive is not clear to the sheriff's office. Deputies are asking anyone with any information to please come forward. But tonight at 10, we did speak to a family friend. Hear more from her tonight. For now, we're live at Gun Club in Kirk. Jen French, KOB, Eyewitness News 4.
Jen, thank you. New tonight at 5. Is there a way to keep tabs on the sale of your stolen property? Well, city councilors have an idea, and it starts with more regulation on pawn shops.
A proposed pawnbroker ordinance is in committee today. And Brittany Costello joins us live from Albuquerque City Hall with more on how that's going. Brittany.
Tessa, Steve, this ordinance targets pawn shops by requiring things like fingerprinting and photographs. But one local pawn association says this goes too far. Knickknacks, movies, guitars. One look around and you'll find an assortment of items overflowing shelves. Because of the nature of business at the Land of Entrapment pawn shop, inventory could change the moment someone walks through the door.
All the pawn shops are regulated to take in the personal information of the person transferring the item.
Name, address, ID. Valerie Davis, the owner, says Susie Marujo just happened to be one of their contributing customers, selling climbing gear and camera equipment. Property later discovered stolen.
A lot of these guys are doing the right things.
Even so, Councilwoman Diane Gibson believes the pawnbroker business needs more regulation. In a proposed ordinance, she's calling for pawn shops to go one step beyond gathering personal information and item serial numbers. The ordinance calls for fingerprinting and photos. Davis says it's a step too far.
We're criminalizing people before they're even as a crime committed, and we don't feel that that's a proper way to do business.
She says the current serial number database used has already led to the arrest of a number of criminals. Their information helped catch Marujo.
As far as the fingerprints and the photographs, those are things that many, many other cities and states have been doing now for quite some time.
Gibson says the changes are needed to help law enforcement convict those criminals. Davis agrees regulation is needed, but wants to broaden the bill to include all secondhand stores. Reporting live downtown, Brittany Costello, KOB, Eyewitness News 4.
Brittany, thank you very much. Also new tonight, a lawsuit more than a year after a 15-year-old boy was killed during a bull riding competition in the Four Corners. Now, we are not going to show you the moment that Brandon Charlie lost his life. You are looking at the moments just beforehand, though. Charlie's family claims rodeo organizers were negligent. According to court documents, Charlie entered the junior division of the bull riding competition. The lawsuit claims he was given a bull that was sanctioned for senior bull riding events, which are more aggressive and difficult to ride. The video shows Charlie being thrown off and then crushed by that bull, and he later died at the hospital. We reached out to the Navajo Nation Junior Bull Riders Association as well as the National Junior Bull Riding Association national directors and have yet to hear back.
Police say they stole a van and caused a crash that killed a 16-year-old Albuquerque girl and her mother. And today, lawyers for Alexis Groves and Paul Garcia said they should not be charged with first-degree murder. We were in the courtroom ahead of their trial.
Alexis Groves and boyfriend Paul Garcia, both in court and sitting just a few feet away from one another, both asking Judge Brett Loveless to exclude key witnesses in their double murder cases. They're accused of stealing a van and going on a chase that ended in a terrible crash, killing Shauna Arredondo Bowling and her 14-year-old daughter Shay Lee in early 2017. The judge denied the requested exclusion of those witnesses. Now, Grove's lawyer is also seeking to have her 2 separate murder charges dismissed, claiming that the grand jury got it wrong in their indictments, saying that it should be vehicular homicide and not the 2 separate first-degree murder charges.
Your Honor, I don't believe that this case fits first-degree felony murder, and those 2 counts should be dismissed, and obviously the other counts of vehicular homicide should stand.
Committing the fleeing in a dangerous manner is a part of aggravated fleeing. That doesn't vitiate the fact that there is also that independent felonious purpose, which is fleeing a law enforcement officer. So the state would argue that it would not be appropriate to dismiss.
Judge Lovelace will hand down his decision in a written response to both sides within the next couple of days. That trial is set to begin on April 16th.
You can kind of feel it in the air that something's changing.
Oh, yes. It was cloudy all day. It looked like it wanted to rain, but just not enough moisture at the surface. In fact, we had reports of some gusty, erratic winds across southeast New Mexico due to those evaporating showers. We got a taste of it here in town on Saturday, which allowed for a gorgeous sunset, too. Got many photos from you folks who sent it via SharePort at KOB.com. Here's how it looked throughout this Monday across parts of the metro. A few cumulus clouds building to the west, but still too dry at the surface for widespread showers. It's currently 61, nice warm afternoon. Wind sustained at 15, gusting close to 30 miles an hour. And you can see the areas of green, which usually indicates rain, but that doesn't tell the whole story. It's still very dry at the surface level, so we've had reports of 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts in areas near Roswell and Carlsbad, producing some minor blowing dust. But we do expect that chance of rain to pick up over the next several days because of this approaching Pacific storm and this cold front from the northeast, which will allow for a good chance for rain and, yes, snow for some of you. I'll have the full forecast and details in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, thank you. We are following 2 big developments out of Washington today. More than 60 Russian diplomats and intelligence officers have been ordered off of U.S. soil. And, of course, adult film star Stormy Daniels. She broke her silence about President Trump, and now she is suing the president's lawyer, saying he defamed her and broke campaign finance law. NBC's Blaine Alexander has it all for you right now at 5.
It is the Trump administration's toughest action yet against Russia. 60 diplomats and spies expelled from the U.S. Its Seattle consulate ordered closed.
Today's actions make the United States safer by reducing Russia's ability to spy on Americans.
An act of international solidarity in response to the chemical attack of a former Russian spy in the UK.
It was a very brazen action. It was a reckless action.
President Trump not personally weighing in on the move. The Russian response? Not happy. Russia's U.S. ambassador saying it cuts what little diplomacy remains between the 2 countries.
I consider these actions counterproductive.
This as the White House is weathering the latest on the Stormy Daniels controversy. The adult film star speaking to 60 Minutes about her alleged affair with Donald Trump and saying she was threatened when a man approached her in a parking lot 7 years ago.
And said to me, "Leave Trump alone, forget the story." And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, "A beautiful little girl, it'd be a shame if something happened to her mom." And then he was gone.
The White House again denying the alleged affair even happened.
The president strongly, clearly, and has consistently denied these underlying claims, and the only person who's been inconsistent is the one making the claims.
Daniels says she signed documents saying the affair did not happen because she felt pressured to do so, saying now those documents were a lie.
And a lawyer for the president's lawyer, Michael Cohen, says that Cohen had no involvement with the alleged threatening of Daniels and says that he doesn't even believe that it actually happened. Today, the White House also casting doubt on that alleged threat. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
A veteran who served 2 tours in Afghanistan has been deported. So we take you to Chicago for this story. Miguel Perez had been living as a legal permanent resident since he was 11 years old, but was never granted citizenship. And he figured his military service took care of that. But in 2010, Perez was sentenced to 15 years in prison for cocaine manufacturing and distribution. His attorney says that the fight is not over.
More than a year after the 2017 Super Bowl in Houston, Philadelphia Eagles player Michael Bennett turned himself into authorities. Bennett allegedly injured a 66-year-old paraplegic worker who was in a motorized chair while trying to get onto the field to congratulate his brother, who was playing for the victorious Patriots.
To the Flint, Michigan water crisis now. Children's blood lead levels there hit an all-time low in 2016, and that's 2 years after the city improved its water supply. It dropped nearly 10% from 2006 until then. Experts say switching the city's water resource and advising people to use filtered water has greatly reduced lead exposure.
Some sad news to report from Kansas. The girl at the center of the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that ended school segregation, she's passed away. In 1954, Linda Brown's father tried to enroll his daughter in an all-white school. He became the lead plaintiff in the Brown versus Board of Education case. Linda was 76 years old. A cat stuck on top of a power pole in Phoenix took control of the internet today as rescuers tried to get him down. Now, for almost 2 hours, thousands of people watched this stranded cat on Facebook. The cat moved around and even ventured out on the line, giving everyone a scare. And neighbors say that cat had been up there since Friday. Eventually, the guy you see right there was able to bring that cat down to safety.
Still ahead here at 5, a new study shows more people are unfriending Facebook. So what is the social media giant doing to keep users logged in?
These works of art represent potential plans for a 21st century art park in the metro. I'll explain the unique concept.